Welcome back to another episode of The Cure for Cowardice. I made a video earlier talking about gratitude, and I wanted to add another thing to that list and make it its own little topic, which is libraries. Libraries are some of my favorite places on the planet. Now, there's a number of reasons, and I would like to use this video to run through them and hopefully convince whoever sees it someday that you need to spend more time at the library too. Or should. Need is a strong word. You should spend more time at the library too. So, number one, they have books which contain all of the knowledge that humans have, basically, for the most part. Now, going to the library to read is as good of a reason as any to go. But it is a different type of environment in the library. You can sit there and cozy up for as long as the library is open and read, and nobody will question you, and you will not feel the pressures and obligations of the outside world. Like, for instance, when I'm at home, I may want to go read, but if it's the middle of the day, I feel a higher obligation to spend time with my loved ones than I do to sit there and read. Now, of course, that is a self-imposed obligation. They wouldn't really care if I wanted to go read. But when you're at the library, you don't have that. Like, you can kind of just escape from the outside world for a little bit inside of a book. I love fiction. Fiction is a very, very, very great blessing upon my life. And I don't think that'll ever change. But so that's number one, is libraries have books, and provide a fantastic environment for getting lost in them and just reading and escaping from the outside world for a little bit. Number two is if you need to get work done. I also do some work from home, namely the data entry, and then I'll have stuff to do for my other jobs at home as well. And I can do it at home, but when I go to the library, I am so hyper-focused on whatever task I'm doing that it just feels so much easier and smoother. Like, for my main job, I have to submit quotes, and so I normally will, sit down at home and get them submitted like that. And it's kind of a long process, and I'll usually put on a podcast or some kind of video in the background, and then it's a lot of looking and trying to figure out what something is that I'm quoting, and back and forth, and it's a long process. And today I just submitted a quote at the library, and it wasn't a particularly small quote. It wasn't humongous, but it went so unbelievably fast. I got the entire thing submitted in 20 minutes flat, compared to the usual 30 to 60 that it would take me. And I didn't have any music, I didn't have any podcasts, I didn't have any distractions. I just sat there and did the work, and I got through it like that. And I enjoyed doing it because it was a very calm, quiet environment where I could just focus on the thing that I was trying to get done and doing it. So that would be we're going to call that reason 3, and we'll call the environment of reading reason 2. So that has far-reaching consequences, reason 3, because if you are somebody like myself who gets easily distracted and can get overwhelmed with too much going on, it very much is. Whoops, I took the wrong street. Hold on, I gotta bust the UE real quick. Let me not go the wrong direction for a long time. Okay. So, that would be reason number 3. But the reason that it has far-reaching consequences is we underestimate how powerful being able to just sit down and work is. Because, especially with the lockdowns and everything like that, everybody working from home with, like, I shouldn't say everybody, a big chunk of people working from home, it's like there are certain benefits that come from working from home, especially if you have a proper work environment, in the sense that you have an area of the house that you would go, that's quiet, well lit, you've got everything that you need there, minimal distractions. There's definitely a benefit with that. But if you have somewhere where all that you have to do there is work, chances are you're going to get some work done. And I think that is a beautiful thing, because the ability to sit down and just work and get things done and move your life forward is something that so many of us take for granted and don't have to the fullest extent that we could. I would bet you money, if you do any kind of work that you can do from home, if you were to take that same work, you were to go to a library, you were to ask for a study room, so you have basically a enclosed room within the quiet, so you have a quiet room within the quiet building, where it's just you, a table, a chair, a light, and your work. If you were to do that, you would be absolutely astounded by how much you can get done and how little stimuli you need in order to stay on task. Like, a lot of people say, like, oh, I'm ADHD, I need to have something going in the background, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I was diagnosed with all the shits when I was a kid. I've made another video about my thoughts on that, but I can say without a doubt that if I sit at home and try and just focus on what I'm doing and have zero music, zero videos in the background, zero distractions, it is a lot more difficult than if I were to be in a library or another quiet environment that is removed from my house, where it's like all that I am there to do is the task that I am working on. So I just wanted to dig into that a little bit, because being able to sit and work, like, that has far-reaching consequences for good, and you can truly move your life forward at light speed compared to other people if you are able to consistently sit down and do that. So that's reason number 3, that you should spend more time at the library. Reason number 4 is, I mean, maybe this should have been reason number 1, but they're free. I mean, like, that, I mean, that's all I really have to say. It's open to the public. That means anybody with a pulse can walk into a computer and start moving their life forward, start getting things done. 99.9% of libraries also have computers that are available for public use, with internet that is available for public use, and you do not have to pay a dime for it. Now, you may have to pay for printing things. You may have to pay a couple bucks to get a library card, which then allows you to check books out and leave with them. But you don't need a library card to sit there in the library and read. And generally speaking, they can get you a guest pass to use the computers. So, and like, it's a couple bucks. Basically, anybody with a pulse has the ability to walk, run, swim, or crawl to a library. Go to an area that has books that will help you learn and move your life forward, or go to a computer that has the entire knowledge base of the human race inside of it, and start moving their life forward. And the best part is, most libraries are open most of the day. Like, the ones around me are open like 9 to 8 or something like that. It's like 11 hours a day, 6 days a week. If you were to sit there and just work and figure out how to move your life forward, you would be absolutely astounded by how far you have come in a short period of time. I bet you any money in the world, if you were to sit there and do that every single day for a month, 30 days, you would be almost unrecognizable with the progress, as long as you had found something that you wanted to work on that you could do from there, and you spent from when the library was open to when the library closed every day doing that. I bet you any money in the world. So anyway, that's what I got for this one. I guess if I'm throwing in number 4, it's that every librarian I've ever met has been an absolute joy to speak to and deal with. And you are making their lives a little bit brighter by giving them a purpose by being a patron of that library. So, anyway, shout out to libraries. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Go to the library.